Gwen Kenneally, thank you so much for joining us on the Plant Trainers podcast today.
It's such a pleasure to be here with you all.
We would love to know if you have a moment of gratitude to share with us and the listeners.
Well, I do. I had a meeting with my publishers yesterday, and aside from moving forward with the Plantastic 2 companion cookbook, we are working on another cookbook called The Inclusive Table, which is apropos on since this is an inclusive podcast. So I think it's really exciting.
That
Very.
is that is exciting. Congratulations. I know it's always wonderful to get that call from your publisher when they're like, "We want another book."
We want more.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. And it's
That's
like,
exciting, yeah.
it is. And it's, how do I fit that book into everything else that I do?
Exactly.
But it's definitely worth it in the long run. Well, we love the Plantastic Cookbook, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. Before we do, we wanted to know a little bit about how you found the plant-based lifestyle. I know it was a little bit different for you.
Yeah, I mean, it was really through cooking in California, I had a lot of vegetarian clients and friends, and I kind of leaned towards that way. And then I had a client that asked for a plant-based dessert bar. And I remember just crying my eyes out and calling my mom saying, "These vegans are ruining my life." And then it just took practice, it just took practice, practice, practice. And, I have a whole crew of guinea pigs that will eat anything I make. So we had some really not so great experiences and some very great experiences. So we grew up and grew the good experiences and kind of worked on or discarded the not so good experiences. And now, Plantastic has a bunch of really great non-dairy, plant-based desserts. So you just find other things that work in a really special way.
Do you remember what that first bar was that you made?
It was a brownie, and now I'm kind of known for my plant-based brownies. It was a brownie that was just not good. It didn't have any rise. It didn't have any, and I just eliminated and didn't add. And, now we know so much about flax seeds and, egg replacements that are natural and holistic and plant-based that we didn't know. We're talking 20 years ago when I first started this journey on doing really amazing plant-based food, because I was just very determined. If it comes out of my kitchen, it doesn't matter what style of food it is, it has to be good, or
Right.
I'm not putting my stamp on it. So,
Well, next time we're in LA, we're going to expect to taste your brownies and give you
okay,
a review.
I would expect that. I would love that.
Amazing. Did anything change for you or your family when you started, cooking and eating more plant-based?
Well, my daughter kind of, when she was about 8, she came up and she said, "I love animals and I never want to eat an animal. How can we eat animals? It's just so cruel and horrible." And and then all of a sudden I have to feed her and make sure that she's getting, all the nutrients that a child needs and honor her where she was at. And so we grew together a lot. And we also had a lot of pasta because that was always a little olive oil and salt, would be a quick meal that we could do. But then I just knew that I needed to grow and come up with more things, things that kids would eat, more things that you know, and that's where all of these books came from. Trial
So
and
that
error,
trial
trial
and
and
error.
error, yeah,
Yeah.
a
So
lot
that
of
was
error.
that was going to be my that was going to be my next question. It was going to be, is your own family where the idea of inclusive meals came from?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Talk to us a little bit more about
What
that.
what does that mean, inclusive meals?
Well, I have a big family, and I have a niece with celiacs. I have a niece that's plant-based. I have a lot of carnivores. I have, so when we get together and a bunch of allergies to boot. So when we all get together, everybody kind of has to make their own thing. And then you've got this huge array of different eating types and different, so it gets to be kind of crazy, but it's really important to me, including, inclusive. And a lot of the plant-based stuff my family loves, like with the steak thrown on top or whatever, but they will get there, they enjoy it, they like it, and it's something that is really special to me, that they will actually be open to it, As long as
So
it tastes good, I think people are open to it.
Right.
I think
Yeah.
so. So is the idea that you're cooking enough sides that are all plant-based to cover the plant-based, the vegan, the allergies, all of that, and then people who are consider themselves carnivores can, put that piece of chicken or beef on their plate.
Exactly. Like Thanksgiving, we'll have everything plant-based except for the turkey and the ham. And then everything else is plant-based. So that kind of covers, all of the allergies, all of the, one of my nieces has like a red bell pepper and tomatoes. I mean, this weird stuff that you kind of, okay, we'll throw that on the side and, so that everybody can eat and enjoy it.
Can you give us some examples of some really good dishes that kind of satisfy everyone?
The spicy bun bun noodles are really great. It's an Asian inspired noodle. It could be made with peanut butter, or it could be made with almond butter, or sunflower seeds. So a lot of people have nut allergies as well. So any of the rice dishes are really great. Lots of green, lots of salads, lots of fresh veg. I mean, I'm so blessed to live in California, where we have so many different fruits and vegetables pretty much year round. I had a friend visiting me from Rochester, New York, and she was like, I can't believe you eat like this all the time. And it's great. We have farmers markets every day of the week. We can just go have our fill of wonderful, fresh produce, and it's amazing.
That,
Yeah, that must be nice to be able to get that fresh stuff all year round.
I think people are thinking about how to move there right now just to be able to eat so fresh, because by the time we get our vegetables up here, they've ripened in a truck unnaturally, right? It's not, it's, throughout the winter, it's a little bit more difficult here to get those big flavors. What are some ideas for meal prepping that can make it easier? Because if people are thinking, okay, I've got to do all these sides and then I've still got to do, the omnivore food, what tips do you have for them?
Well, I'm a big proponent of spending some time early Sunday evening or Sunday afternoon and prepping, going to the market Sunday morning and just prepping as much out as I can for the week. So kind of having an idea, this is all the stuff that will go in the salads. This is all the stuff that will go in this dish, knowing what I'm going to be preparing. I mean, it's so much easier when it's prepped. Then you just can come home from work or a long day and you're exhausted and you can just throw it all together and come up with something special. So that's a really good idea. Also, I prep to eat. Like if there's carrots, I get them all set up and ready to eat so that, the kids just can grab it and go from there. So I think preparation is such a key, and prepping ahead and being, really mindful of what you have and what, everybody's going to eat that week.
Yeah, I think it keeps people fuller. It helps you make recipes that are more, in season because it's the stuff that you have. But also I think it keeps you from wasting as much food, because the worst thing is you open up the drawer and you realize the carrots are sitting there and they're no longer orange. They're a really yucky shade of brown.
Exactly. And withered and
Yeah, dry and kind of
I'm
moldy.
also really big, on clearing through the like again on a Sunday, when I'm home, clearing the fridge and dumping everything into a pot and making a nice veggie stock, and sometimes if I have a lot of stock, I'll freeze it in ice cube trays. So when you need a little bit of stock, you just can pop it out. And it's really delicious. And so I try really to not have waste because I do buy a lot of produce, and I try really hard not to have waste because it's easy to get caught up, oh, we're going to go out tonight, or we're going to do this, or, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I've got all this fresh veg. I got to do something with it.
Freezing in those ice cube trays is a great idea.
Yeah,
That's-
especially for oil free, because people who want to use just a little bit of broth to, get their simmer going or whatever it is, that works really well. We were going out of town last week and I had some extra mushrooms, and I'm like, okay, the mushrooms cost me $1.99. So to throw out 6 of the 20 mushrooms that came in there, not the end of the world. And I'm like, well, I asked my Alexa how I can freeze the mushrooms. So I blanched them and then
Uh-huh.
stuck them in cold water and then
Uh-huh.
stuck them in the freezer so I could stick them in a soup another time.
That's
Um,
beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah,
Do you
it's
have
a
any other
great.
ideas like that for people?
Well, again, if you do smoothies every day, you can pre-batch the smoothies, and just, have everything that you're going to put in to a smoothie together and then throw it in the blender in the morning. Because if you're not a morning person, that can be brutal. And yeah, anything that you can prepare ahead of time just makes everything so much easier. And
But
especially,
if somebody's like, I don't have that much time to do all this prep work, eating this way, is it really gonna take up that much time? Can I do it quickly? Is it simple, or is it I need time to be able to prep?
well, I think at the beginning it's a little bit more challenging, but as you get used to it, it's super simple. At the beginning, if you're not used to, how you're eating, then and you're following new recipes and you may not know some of the ingredients. That's why for Plantastic, I really wanted to keep it ingredients that you could find at any supermarket. And I know that some places you can't find everything year round at the supermarket, but I wanted to make sure that it was recipes that were simple enough to follow and that you could find. There weren't any of the weird ingredients that you can't pronounce,
Right.
So yeah, we have the Plantastic Cookbook. I think that it's absolutely fabulous. And I think I was telling you when we had our call a little while ago that I won't make anything where there's no picture. And not all your pictures are or most of your pictures are not the outcome of what it's going to look like, but there's still a picture of like that main ingredient and stuff like that. And that's enough to get my taste buds going, to get my
Oh, good.
eyes going, and to want to make ingredients. So I found that really unique about your cookbook. You looked at that ingredient. What else will people find unique about the Plantastic Cookbook?
Well, I just think that the simplicity of most of the recipes. I mean, there is some that I have in the party fare that are a little bit more special and a little more time consuming. But again, that it just is simple and everyday and really, really good stuff. Again, another little time saver is batching, making batches of salad dressing. And so that you've got fresh salad dressing all the time. And usually I do 2 or 3 a week at my house. So, I might do one on Sunday, one on Wednesday, and then rotate them for the rest of the week. So, again, anything you can do ahead of time makes it super easy. And, again, the more you do it, the easier it is to do. But it's like anything new, you have to build the muscle, right? You have to build the knowledge and and people sometimes will read and do exactly the recipes. And then I love when they say, well, I added this and I did this. And I'm like, wow, that's great. So that's a really fun piece of it too.
Yeah. So what I like to do, people might find it a little shishi, but I like to do the takeout on Sunday night. It doesn't mean that I'm out of the kitchen. It means that I'm doing all my prep work for the week. And although I'm, really, really busy doing all of that, at least I don't have to make dinner for that night, or we'll do a stuff night, which is basically emptying the fridge and just making quick things out of everything left over, an extra 2 slices of bread here and a little bit of pasta there. And everybody kind of takes what they want and adds avocado or, some daya to it or whatever. And we're just kind of having a hodgepodge of food. So my time spent getting the week ready.
Right. That's a great idea. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. So I want to ask you, do you have any recent projects going on, anything besides your book that you wanted to talk about that you're really proud about?
Oh my gosh, so much. I am doing all kinds of great events. I cater. So there's a lot of um, equality and justice events that I've been doing. And just being able to create all this really fun parties and events and brunches and dinners. And I'm doing a celebration of life this weekend, which is really wonderful. I also work with Alice Waters and Edible Schoolyard Project, and we feed 700 students a day. I'm
Wow.
sure you're hearing little student noises,
Mhm.
which is exciting and fun and just a joy.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for that good work that you're doing.
Hmm. So the Plantastic Cookbook is your book, and we always ask our authors what would be one of your favorite recipes that our listeners could find in that book. And I know it's
Uh,
like choosing a kid, one of your
Favorite
kids,
child.
but yeah,
My favorite
Um,
child's our dog.
yes, great.
Exactly. Um, I think I'm very particular to the lotus cookie because it's like got the flavors of it just evolved from, again, we need some gluten-free, vegan, plant-based cookies. And I'm like, how? Well, how do you even begin that? And so, now you can Google anything and find stuff, but 20 years ago, you had to just like sweat it out in the kitchen. And the Lotus Kitchen cookies, I put in dried ginger and chocolate, and it's an almond-based cookie. So you just use almond meal and maple syrup for a little bit of sweetness, and then once it's all put together, I sprinkle a little salt on it right when it comes out of the oven. You just sprinkle a little salt so it's got that LaFleur kind of thing going on. So it's just a party in your mouth. It's got chocolate and ginger and almond, and so that's one that I love very
Ooh,
much.
almond flour, put it on the shopping list.
Sounds good.
If somebody wanted to become plantastic, what are some what's one major tip that you would give them to start with today?
Just eat more vegetables, just find what you love and just, I mean, I love raw vegetables. I love to just load up on raw vegetables. So I think that's a really great way to get started and not have to worry about, oh my gosh, the preparation and the time and you just grab a carrot out of your fridge and go to town.
Okay, so it's the Plantastic Cookbook. Why don't you tell our audience where they can get it and where they can connect with you if they'd like to get more information?
You can connect with me on my website, which is backtothekitchencatering.com. You can get my book pretty much anywhere, Amazon, Target, Walmart, a lot of local bookstores, a lot of local gift stores are carrying it. So it's kind of around. It's around, which is great. I'm really excited that people can get it easily.
That is always great. So we will put some links to you and your Plantastic Cookbook in the show notes at planttrainers.com.
Thank
And
you.
thank you so much, Gwen, for spending time with us today. We appreciate it.
I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.